There has been a lot of miscommunication regarding the process. We were made out to be unsupportive of Representative Stubbs before we even had the information on the confirmation level in the process. Up until today, I have never stated what my position was. Yet I was labeled as trying to block Representative Stubbs' confirmation when I was simply following the process and reviewing information as it was provided to me. Some say that the rhetoric has been a display. The rhetoric that has been on display is a distraction. I disagree. Actually, I appreciate Maddie for saying what she said. Not what she said, but the fact that she was speaking her truth, and I honor her for that. And now I'm speaking mine. My vote is not based on any of the attacks that myself and Supervisor Pellebon have received. On the Facebook posts or live videos that I've been tagged in, it's not about race. It's not about whether Representative Stubbs can hold two jobs. It's about Representative Stubbs and her qualifications for the position. Representative Stubbs is a very well-qualified and well-respected individual in this community. She has done many things on the county board and the legislature, and I'm grateful for her service. Based on her experience, however, she doesn't have the breadth of experience needed for this position, and for that reason, I cannot vote to confirm Representative Stubbs.
Supervisor Pellebon.
This process has been a hard process. First, I would like to thank Supervisors Kageya, Gray, and Wright for their support and their level-headedness through an amazingly hard couple of weeks. I would also like to thank the one person who will not be named to protect them from any backlash, who took the time to contact me to find out what I was thinking and why. It has been stated by the nominee, the county executive, and even an editorial board that our defense of our humanity is a distraction. My vehement assertion of our respect and humanity is never a distraction. It is a necessity. Now on to the matter at hand. There is a misnomer that our job as a county board is to be a rubber stamp approval board. While I realize that there has been rampant misinformation about our process, it does not change that we have a process that we are legislated to move forward, including questioning of appointments from the county executive. I also realize that in the past, how some of these appointments have moved through previous boards may not have had questions or objections. That is not this board. There is one thing that has been clear for me, is that I do and always will question anything that comes before me. Because as a supervisor, it is a part of my charge to be checks and balances of the executive branch. I take that charge seriously. I also know that the process has been unclear and deemed not transparent. To that end, I will be working with Chair Miles to introduce an ordinance amendment to very clearly state what our process is and what we will need from the county executive moving forward in order to do our jobs in a way that gives proper information and allow for the transparency that has been called for from the public. I invite all of you to be a part of this change moving forward. I also call for the leadership of the board and county executive to work towards normalizing a relationship between the two entities. This rift has been ongoing for years, and we have seen the result of the lack of communication and partnership between us. This is an all of us problem and requires an all of us solution. When this process started, even before I was aware of the nomination, there was already a campaign to malign my and the board's intent in this process. We as a county board had received many emails with passion and vigor, some even with threats. Before the first hearing, a supporter of the nominee called me personally and took that opportunity to call me a dastardly racial slur, which I immediately rebuked and pushed back on. Even with all of these incidents that made me feel unsafe, I had a conversation with Representative Stubbs to ask the questions that I felt caused me pause with the nomination. At the end of that call, I was ready to give my yes vote to Representative Stubbs and told her so. Then last Thursday, the same supporter in the phone call previously mentioned stood up in a public meeting and referred to every member of the Black Caucus by the same racial slur. Even worse, Supervisor Kageya was in the room and the speaker directed the remark to her. What was beyond disappointing to me was that there was not immediate and widespread condemnation of this event. Even more so, when Supervisor Kageya then had the temerity and courage to ask the nominee about the remark, there was not immediate repudiation of the remark. As someone who managed a church, as Ms. Ray has mentioned, one cannot on one hand manage a church and a staff, and on the other hand not manage the people who are a part of the leadership of that church. Where is the truth? that she can supervise or that she is not responsible for those in her circle. So that the board is aware, these remarks are continuing and have expanded in their ferocity. Misinformation has continued about our process and our purview. When I think about the Department of Health and Human Services, the thing I think about most is the caring and dedication of the employees and management to equity and reduction of harm. Every moment since that HHN meeting has lacked reduction of harm. Every moment has been concerned about positionality and not concerned about the best fit of the job. What I have been shown in this process is that the nominee has been unable to manage a process without harmful rhetoric from those around her and a reticence to admit mistakes and work to resolve harm. This lack of leadership is not reflective of what I want running our largest department who deals with our most vulnerable. It makes me wary of any disagreements in the future that will result in further harm to those that deign to disagree. The action since that meeting from the nominee is disqualifying. This is not an issue of race. This is an issue of vetting for the right person for the job. To that end, I will be voting for denial.